Windows 7. The Grim Reaper is coming for you. Hey everyone, what's happening? And today we are talking about Windows 7. Now everyone might know that Windows 7 it will reach its end of life on January 14th. And what that means is Microsoft will be killing the security updates and will no longer support the operating system. Now, what does that mean for you? That means you will get no more security patches if you are still using Windows 7. So, what are your options come January 14th? Well, you should probably make your decision before then because January 14th will be the last security update. So what are your options come January 14th? Well, you got a couple of them. Well, the first option is, and I shudder to even say this, is that you should just upgrade to Windows 10. If you want to stay on Windows, that is your most viable option. Windows 10 receives security updates. It also receives feature updates at this point. However, who knows when that'll end, even though Microsoft says Windows 10 will be the last operating system that they create. I don't know if that's going to be true or not. However, you could upgrade to Windows 8. However, in 2 years, which is 2022, in January, Windows 8 will reach its end of life. So you're going to be dealing with this problem if you have a really good computer in 2 more years. Your next option is stay on Windows 7. Now, I am not going to even say that this is a viable option. When Windows 7 terminates its active support, its extended support actually, you're not going to receive any security patches, which will make it very vulnerable for malware, ransomware, etc. Some might say, well, get a good antivirus and you won't have to worry about that. Well, antiviruses only take you so far. Still, there will be the holes in the operating system. Now, antiviruses may help you defend against them a little bit, but seriously, if you care about your data, this is not your option. Now, if you have a newer computer that runs Windows 10 and you still want to use Windows 7, it will still work. What I would suggest then is put your Windows 10 computer or whatever Mac you're using, or if you're using Linux on a computer, put that one on the internet and disconnect the Windows 7 computer from the internet and never put it back online. That is a viable option if you like to do your work in Windows 7. That is completely viable. If it's not on the internet, it can't get hacked, it can't get malware, it can't get any of those things unless you download it and transport it using a flash drive, but you'd have to be really dumb to do that. But if you disconnect your Windows 7 computer from the internet, it will still work and you'll be secure and you'll still be able to get your work done in Windows 7. Windows 7 is my favorite Windows ever, actually. It was stable, and for the most part, I liked its layout, I liked the way it worked, and I can understand why people want to stay on it and why people don't like Windows 10. So, there's option number 2. Your next option is to buy a Mac. Mac OS is still secure and will provide security patches, etc. However, this is the most expensive option. The reason why this is the most expensive option is because Macs are expensive and the upgrade to Windows 10 is free if you are using Windows 7 or Windows 8. So, even though some people may be so against Windows that they might go out and buy a Mac, well, it is very, very expensive. But you will be secure if you do that, and it is an option. So that is the next option. So I've saved the best option, in my opinion, for last, and that is to switch to Linux. Unlike Mac, where you have to buy a whole new computer to use it, Linux works with a variety of hardware and most likely is compatible with your system that you already have on your desk or in your laptop bag or at home in general. Now, there are a variety of distributions out there. Some are geared to the more advanced users, and some are geared to the people who want to switch from Windows to Linux. Now, if you are switching from Windows to Linux and don't know that much about computers and Linux in general, there are two distributions I would highly suggest you consider switching to when you're first starting out. And one of those is Linux Mint. This is actually top of the list. Linux Mint has developed a workflow very, very similar to Windows on purpose. It is designed with the Windows user in mind with the Cinnamon desktop. Now, if you are considering switching from Windows to Linux, I would highly suggest that you go to the Linux Mint website. I'll link that down in the description, and download an image, and then take a tool either called Rufus or Etcher. I'll link links to download those as well in the description, and write them to a USB drive, just a standard flash drive like this, and boot it from a flash drive and click Try Linux Mint. It'll allow you to try out Linux Mint, play around with it, get a feel for it without making any changes to your drive before you install it. Then if you decide you like it, you can install it afterwards to your hard drive. Be sure to back up your data because you will have to wipe it out. But that would be what I would suggest. That way you don't get frustrated while you're trying to get your work done. But take a few days, a few hours a day to play around with it. Try and write a document in it. You can take another flash drive, save it to a flash drive, and that way you can get used to doing work, playing around with it, etc. And then install it. That's what I would recommend you do if you're considering switching from Windows 7 to Linux. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's what the thumbs down button is for. Leave a comment in the section below, and feel free to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel. And I will see you next time. If you like my content and wish to support my work, you can do so on Patreon. The link is in the description. Also, if you wish to see more, check out the videos on your screen.